Hello guys, and I just looked at a video like a few seconds ago about it, and I noticed that it was echoing. So yeah, I'm sorry about that. Oh, and by the way, you won't be hearing the fan on. It's busted up. Anyways, I'm sorry that I haven't uploaded any videos, but I have been going to school, doing some work, stuff like that crap. I kind of figured that since over the summer break, I wasn't going to do much, but anyways, I noticed also that I did not put a chapter name on chapter 7 or title on chapter 7. But no, I was so prepared that day. And if you're all wondering, well, I tried to do a video on chapter 8 a few weeks ago, but I was so unprepared. I was so, beyond unprepared. I didn't even like how I was talking. I was second guessing myself and all this other piece of garbage. Anyways, I was just unprepared. But you live and learn. I'm going to try to push this video as long as I can. Hopefully I can get to an hour-long video today. Since it is 9:51 a.m. in the morning time, so maybe I'll be able to do it. Okay. Let's do this. And don't worry, I'm just putting myself up for this freaking chapter. It's been a while since I recorded. Let's do this. Ethan the Hybrid. Chapter 8. The Decision. Not much time has passed since Snowfall's and Ethan's little chat on the balcony. But a simple mind could easily tell that it was eating him up. It was eating Ethan up inside. He was wondering exactly what was he going to do. Is the decision he's going to make will be the right one or be the wrong one? But the main thing that was on his mind the most was how would the people in the village see him as. Ethan didn't know. He was laying on his bed, looking up at the ceiling, still going over the decision in his head. And each time he thinks about it, he makes up countless of possibility that may happen and may not happen. As in, for one, the entire citizens of the village would turn on him and see him as a villain or a monster. Or, in a good way, they would welcome back. They'll welcome him back, as nothing has ever happened. But on that day, a lot of things happened. That day changed the course of the world's history. After all, that day was the worst day of Ethan's life. Ethan sighed in frustration, a little bit of frustration, wondering what is he going to do? How and if the people of the village still likes him and treats him with respect, what can he do? What possibly can he do to persuade them if they do hate him? Ethan remembered what Snowfall said. You know, they do miss you. They all been asking for it. They all been asking if you were okay since I went down there. And besides, they did help me in that explosion. Took out the entire force. And you're the only survivor. Barely no one in the village hesitated to help. A few did, but the ones that you said that were your friends could care less. They rushed into that danger and they pulled you out. They helped me bring you back. So I suggest you at least give them a chance. I can guarantee you that if you do, it won't be that bad. Ethan opened his eyes. And sat up on his bed as the bed creaked under the new account of weight being more pressurized where his butt would be, where his butt is. Ethan looked around, scanning his room. He noticed that the books he read was all neatly in order, all the way in order and alphabetized, directly on each shelf. It go by alphabets. It went all the way from A to Z. The A's on the top and the Z's are all the way on the bottom. Ethan was always a neat freak. He wasn't necessarily a complete neat freak, but he did like when everything was in order. We could find it without a second glance. Then his eyes locked onto the sword. The sword he used for all of his life. The sword he made that took 7 years to make. He specially crafted it and made it fit him precisely. You remember it like it was yesterday. The training was, if you don't know how to make a sword, then you don't know how to use it. Snowfall was always on his behind, teaching him new things each day. I remember the first time when he actually started training with Snowfall. Let's just say he put him through utter hell and back. Trust me, the training was not for ordinary humans. It would kill them. It was considered that dangerous. He also remember when he first fought his first cave bear. He didn't kill him in the end, but let's just say the cave bear freaking threw his behind like a rag doll. And still he got scolded for losing the fight. Ethan chuckled a bit, remembering his past, all the joyfulness, and other times he would actually talk back the Snowfall, all the joyous laughs they would all have, and how many times his wife would easily beat the crap out of him if he gets on her bad side. So with a content grunt, he pulled himself off the bed. His feet hit the ground. And he just started walking. He didn't have a precise destination. He just decided to walk. He walked past the living room. And he walked directly towards the door. He didn't know exactly what drove him to go to the door. He just decided to. His hand gripped the doorknob and clicked, indicating that the door was opened. The door was ready to be opened. He pulled the door, walked out, and shut it. And he was met with the night sky. Ethan has never seen a real sunrise before. Like an ordinary sunrise. It wasn't that he was going to it wasn't that he was going to die during the sun rising or not. It was that he couldn't help but sleep during the daytime. It was one of the main weaknesses he has, being a hybrid and all. But still, Ethan is trying to make it the best way he possibly can and get used to it. And hopefully master the ability not to fall asleep during the sunrise and hopefully stay up. Even if it is for a few minutes. He's hoping to get some type of benefit out of it. But let's not talk about that now. After all, it was a beautiful night. All the stars twinkling in the day. All the stars twinkling in the middle of the night, filling the sky with beautiful colors. The moon, so big and white, is the basic thing that coalesces and makes the night the most beautiful night. Ethan didn't waste any time looking at the night sky, neither the moon. He needed some time to think. So the best possible way he could go and think was simple. He walked off the porch and started walking toward the tree line. With each step, he was still deciding should he go to the village or not. But in the forest, his answers would be revealed. As he was still walking and getting closer and closer by every passing second towards the forest, he noticed something. It wasn't very noticeable to ordinary humans, but to him, he could tell something was off. Something was extraordinarily off. He felt that something or someone was watching him. He couldn't pinpoint exactly where, but he just had a feeling. Ethan looked around. Scanning every single possible thing. Ethan may have been blind, but in the middle of the night, he could still see. Not as well like in color, but he could see. Not completely, though. He didn't need to use his eyes in the middle of the night to see. He could just tell something was out there. But he still looked. He wasn't necessarily using his eyes. He was using his heart. You see, Ethan has been through special training. Since he'd been blind for the past few months, he was training to see if he could, basically, see. He wanted to know if he could see with any other senses in his body. But when he was in his bed one day, a miraculous discovery was made. His heart. His heart was beating. And if Ethan focused, his heart would make a sonic pulse, a sound pulse around his immediate vicinity. Some stuff in his room, he could easily tell exactly where they were. But with this pulse, he could tell what living beings were. His heart wasn't as strong as others, but his senses were extremely strong. Heightened by, well, the way he was born and how he was trained. All of his senses were heightened, but his hearing was the main thing that was heightened the most. And as his heartbeat, he used his heartbeat as like a sonar ray. If it hit something, it would make a sound that his ears would pick up. But nothing was there. Absolutely nothing. Ethan didn't pick up not a darn thing. I was about to cuss there, but I'm sorry. I gotta do it. My family's home. Back into character. Now Ethan was on alert. He wished he brought his sword with him. So, someone is definitely out here with me, he thought. I wonder, who may that be? Who may that be? Who may that be? Who might that be?
Well, you screwed my name. I'm tripping.
He decided to keep walking to the tree line, without a care in the world, acting like nothing was wrong. But he stayed cautious, and he was very vigilant. As he met the tree line, the sounds of leaves crumbling beneath his foot, crumbling beneath his steps, filled the air. He walked past each tree. He wanted to find his. He wanted to get to his special place, where many humans can't find if they get lost in the forest. He could basically go there as his basic secret hiding place. But as he turned to the direction of his hiding place and kept walking, he had that feeling like something was watching him still. As an idiot, as Ethan was not, he didn't just pass it off like it must have been goosebumps or chills or something like that. He didn't become nervous, but he became more stern. At this point, he was ready to kill whatever was about to attack, with no mercy. So he kept walking though, at a normal pace, like he usually was walking at. What the heck was that? With a stir, Ethan turned around. Quick as a cobra, Ethan turned around. And the voice was gone. He didn't recognize that voice, but he recognized the sound of it. He recognized that sound. It was those monsters. The monsters that were supposed to be extinct. Now Ethan was very much on edge. He was in a stance. Ethan put himself in a stance. Sure, he may have been standing up with both of his hands right by his side. But in this possible stance, it's known as no stance. The stance basically covers up your entire body without no one noticing you're in a stance. Ethan uses this when he fights any enemy. Well, there's the voice again. It seems like you did a good job. It will only be a matter of time now until our plans will be put into motion. Plans? What plans may that be? Not in a serious way, frightened. Ethan said, "As you wish, sir. I will warn you. If we do this, it will be extremely unstable, and it will start breaking down. In fact, I fear if we don't activate it and maintain the field, it may kill us." "That's a risk I'm willing to take. After we got defeated, and our master was destroyed and reduced to nothing, the only possible thing we can do is run." "And what about the nightmare?" "The nightmare? We have to avoid him for now." But anyways, mining that. Do we need any other technology? Yes. The portal will be activated, but we need a large amount of power. And is there any power for it? Well, there is a village, but like I said, the nightmare may be there. And if the nightmare is there, we'll make quick work of him. The master must have weakened him enough. And besides, his body didn't have enough time to heal, so he may be weak. That'd be one less problem to deal with. So your target's the village. You're looking for electricity. It sounds to me that you're cowards. And you said you're a master. Don't you dare tell me he's talking about Ishina. Ishina. That freaking crazy lunatic. Well, apparently I missed some stragglers. But they're right. Ishina did weaken me. Depends exactly what time you're attacking the village, though. Great. I can forget making a decision to go down there. Or can I? I think I made a better decision. So I think I made a better decision to go into this forest this night. This night. Intel. Gotta love when enemies try to be so cocky. Well, I guess my decision is met. Tomorrow I'm going down to that village. They most likely make attack and a festival going on 3 days from now. Well, I'm going to be prepared. but I need to act casual. I don't know if they're surveying the entire town or not. Since they can mimic into any human, I have to be on guard. The Nightmare Knights. A crude and demonic creature that was made out of hatred, despair, and guts. Glorified bodies that was stripped of its skin and was harvested, made into the horrible entities that's known as Nightmare Knights. Creatures that could mimic any other creature, but in doing so, they have to absorb. But in doing so, they have to absorb whoever they want to copy. They are extremely powerful, including the F1 and F6 that Ethan fought in the past. Now Ethan will have to find a way to protect the citizens of the village and take down these Nightmare Knights. Give me a moment. I'm doing something. Give me a moment. Well, my auntie came. Great. Let me just lock this door. By the way, if you hear any unknown, that's my auntie and my nieces. And if you heard that, of my stepdad as well. So, had to get back to business. Oh, this is gonna be annoying. Yeah, this is gonna be extremely annoying. Anyways, let's keep going. Ethan now is going to be facing a decision. You want to know, should he tell the mayor of the town, or is the mayor one of the freaking Nightmare Knights? Anyways, he couldn't care less. He could care less about that. The safety of his civilians is his top priority. He's going in there tomorrow, even if it is daytime. He's going to talk to some people and get prepared for our upcoming battle. Ethan decided to leave the forest, walking back to his house. And he walked into his house, shut the door, and walked back to his room. Through the walk back to his house, Ethan realized that the voices were strong in the forest. And since his house was close enough to it, I would say he could hear it. So the likely assumption that they're all in the forest is about 82%. And going with Ethan, that percentage is good enough for him. Jesus, girl, it's taking forever. But I'm thinking I'm not doing much. But let's get going now. And the first time in many years, Ethan decided to rest. It wasn't necessarily in his nature, but it wasn't necessarily anything. After all, Ethan couldn't sleep during the middle of the night. It was impossible for him to do that. But Ethan found out a neat trick. After all, he did need a rest. Didn't even sleep today. So he walked over to his bed, laid down, after he picked up his favorite sword. If those nightmare nights are out there, he's going to sleep with his sword. He's not going to leave himself defenseless. He kept his sword in his hand, in his left hand, and did the famous technique that Snowfall did on him to make him pass out when he went rampaging all over the place. He put his right hand on his neck, and with his thumb and his middle finger, he pressed down right in between his trachea. He was limiting the amount of oxygen he was going to be dealing with. And therefore, since he could hold it on there, he was like a human. He passed out. Dude, I need to go to the bathroom. Don't know how to edit this piece of garbage. Don't want to pause it either. I got 29 minutes. I could hold it. Yeah. I want to probably reach to 40. I want to get to 40. I want to at least get to 40. Perspective change. Nightmare. Location. Ethan's mind. So, Mr. Ethan, the boss, found the nightmares, huh? Well, hopefully he'll be able to fight them. This is just getting too exciting. Nightmare had a twisted smile with deadly sharp teeth. He resembled Ethan, but the aura around him was beyond lethal. It was necrotic, pure evil, with no mercy at all. And Nightmare loved him. Loved it. One of these days, Ethan, one of these days I will break away from your mind, and I will rat, and I will leave the world in ruins and destruction. You cannot handle me, Ethan. You don't have your friends beside you now. It means it's free game. Oh, this is going to be exciting. And I cannot wait for it to be that way. But anyways, on that, Nightmare turned around in his cell, locked deep beneath Ethan's mind. His eyes locked on to a specific blue light. Nightmare walked toward the blue light, and he peered into another world or dimension. Nightmare wasn't necessarily sure. He might have been an evildoer. That doesn't mean he was all bright. But anyways, Nightmare looked into the portal, and out on the other side was a different world. A world where it had two beings that moved the sun and moon, and a being that ruled over love. And not in fact a lavender little mare, and cared about friendship with all five of her other friends. This will be perfect. A world of pure love and everything. I don't like any of this happy daddy dewy mushy love crap. But these beings are weak. That doesn't mean I can't have any fun with them. Oh, Ethan. When you find yourself in this realm, you're not going to have your friends to be beside you. And I cannot wait to take over your body. You may be worried about the nightmares now, but don't you forget it, Ethan. I am the worst nightmare that's ever existed. Nightmare put his hand into the portal, keeping his eye on a very specific pony. He didn't know her name, but her coat was a light gray. Her cutie mark was basically something that he'd never seen before. But he could tell her eyes were a little slight golden color. And he could tell that he could tell that something was very off about her. After all, both her eyes were in different directions, like an iguana. And obviously she was a Pegasus. With Nightmare's one snap, the very jolly Pegasus mare crashing down to the ground. And with a sudden smack and a crash, she flew directly into a mailbox. It may not be much, Nightmare said, but I do love a good laugh. I can't do a good laugh. I can't do a good laugh. I can't do it. It's just too easy. It's too hard, and I'm decent at doing good laughs. Not now. I'm just too hard. No, it's too hard. I'm not too hard. Let's enough to laugh. I'm gonna try to get. I'm trying to get. Today will be the end for you, Ethan. And a new realm will open up. A realm of pure darkness that will be fueled by my vengeance of you and your friends defeating me. Don't think about it. Ethan. It's just how checkmate goes. Ow. And that was Ethan, the Hybrid, Chapter 8, The Decision. I may make it a different name, but I'm going to call it The Decision. Ooh, plot twist for you, huh? So I think that it's called MLP. So if you know the MLP, you should know the man. You should know the mayor. You should know the mayor, the Pegasus mayor. That nightmare snapped his fingers and caused it to crash. You should know the mayor if you know her. Comment down in the description if you know her. And if you don't, and if you're not a brony like I am, and obviously I'm not a brony since I didn't know her cutie mark. I mean, trust me, I don't know her cutie mark. I think it was a cupcake. But I'm not going to say her name. Or muffin. I'm not going to say her name. Anyways, like I said, Ethan the Hybrid, Chapter 8. The decision is finally over. By the way, I'm terrible at laughing, so yeah. That was it. So I want y'all to like it or dislike it. Just why don't you leave me a comment of who do you think that Pegasus mirror was? And I will see you guys when the moon rises tomorrow. Bye bye.